What's up, guys? Today I figured I'm gonna do a video on the Gilmour and the tone knob for the bridge. So if you need to adjust your tone on a Strat, you can't because they don't have it wired that way. It's a simple mod over here. It's just a jumper wire. And then the Gilmour mod is very simple too. All you need is a single pole, single throw, or in my case it's single pole, double throw. And you're gonna need some wire, and you're gonna have to have some soldering skills. And the tone mod will enable you to use the tone control on the bridge. The Gilmour mod with the toggle switch will enable you to use the bridge and the neck pickup and all pickups at once, just flipping that little toggle switch there. So instead of a 5-way, you'll have a 7-way switch. Alright, so first thing, you're going to remove all your screws, and then we're going to make a little dot here. How I did mine, and I'm kind of anal about this. This slot here, I lined up, and you want to make sure you're level on the switch side and then the screw side. I measured down 5/8 of an inch, and then at this mark right here, the 1/8 inch mark, I just put a little dot right there to line that up. That will allow this switch to sit evenly between the volume and tone and this toggle switch. So if you look down at it, it's going to be centered. I want the on position down this way. You can do this by just unloosening your strings, and I was able to slip the pick guard out. So I have the newer switch, which is all in line, and if we look over here, that's the older switch, this is the newer switch, and then lug 1 to 8, so we'll run through them quick. So this is going to be lug 1. This is going to, and you're going to want to trace these. So this is the bridge, and then the next one goes to the middle, and then the third one goes to the neck, and that follows suit. Now this volume pot, this wire goes over here right to lug 4, which is common, and then they have a little piece of wire. So this is what kind of took me off guard. I'm like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. So I jumped on a forum, and lo and behold, I found that. So anyway, here's the tone pot that we want to trace the wire from. So this one right here is going to be the middle, lug 7. That's the second to last lug on the switch. All we're going to do is solder a wire from here, lug 7, to lug 6. And you could see middle, bridge. So 7 to 6. All we're going to do is add a little wire that goes to there, and then this tone pot will control the bridge and the middle pickup. Okay, so all we did, you can see I just took that little yellow wire, and I recommend, if you have, using the silicone because it doesn't burn the insulation. So I soldered just a little jumper wire from lug 7 to 6. We'll move on to the Gilmour mod now. Alright, so for the Gilmour mod, now this is the old switch. So what we're going to do is count 1, 2, 3 lugs. And then on the newer switch, you're going to count 1, 2, 3 lugs. And then if we look over here, we already counted this, and then we know this is the neck. So if you want to double check yours, just trace the wire back. So I know lug 3 right here goes to the neck pickup. We're going to take our toggle switch, and all we're going to do is solder a wire from this lug right to here, this third lug. Then we're going to take the center lug, and if you're only using a single pole, single throw, you'll run the wire from here to the volume pot right here, and you can trace that wire up right to lug 4. But you want to solder it down to here. And first we got to make a hole. And over here on the toggle you can see that center lug. So if you have single pole, single throw, you're only going to have 2 lugs. Just make sure, because I want my switch pointing down on this when it to let me know that it's off. I don't want it pointing up. Now make sure you drill a pilot hole. So a pilot hole just means you're going to drill a small hole, and then you'll take the bigger drill bit and then you'll drill through that. And be careful, support it, you know, underneath, but don't go drilling through your hand or anything, and make sure that you don't drill into your guitar. The other thing, before you go drilling it, I mic'd this out. So you could use a caliper or a mic. Mine mic'd out to 223 thousandths of an inch, which is a little less than a quarter of an inch. So I'm using a number 2, which you might not have. So 1/4 inch, that's gonna be a little bit big. You're gonna have a lot of slop in your plate here, because a 1/4 inch is 250 thousandths, and this, at least in my case, mic'd out to 223 thousandths. So, you know, if that's all you got, that's all you got. But if you can do a number 2, you're good. Okay, so the number 2 is slightly tight. I mean, you could thread it in there and be all right, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. All right, so number 1 bit did not work, which is 228 thousandths, but a letter bit, an A bit, that's 234 thousandths. That allowed that to slip in there very nice. Okay, so I recommend taking some wire and giving yourself some leeway, soldering it, and then cleaning it up to the switch, and then we'll mount the switch. This way you're not trying to solder in between here. It just makes it easier. Okay, so after we got that wired in like so, what you're gonna want to do is test it before you put it back together. The other thing worth noting is, if you look at my switch, make sure, I'm kind of anal about this. I wanted this to be parallel with this, so when it's in the down position, it's actually pointing, it's not off this way or that way. And when it's up, you know, it's parallel to that line on this switch. Okay, so now that we got everything done, we want to test it. Now with this in the off position and you're connected to an amp, what you'll do is turn your volume and your tone up, and you'll tap each pickup. With this off, it should act exactly as it does, you know, the way it came from the factory. So that is just a bridge, and those 2 don't work. So if we move to position 2, now we should engage the bridge and the middle, and you can hear it, and the neck is out. Then if we go to the 3rd position, the bridge will be off, neck or middle is on, and the neck is off. If we go to 4th position, that will take the bridge out, and then we should have middle and neck, and you can clearly hear that. Then if we move to the 5th and final position, it should just be the neck, and we can hear that. Then we'll go ahead and put this back down to position 1, and then we'll flip the toggle that we just put in, and now we'll test it. So the bridge is working, middle is off, and that. So now you have bridge and neck. So that's your 6th position. Then if we go to position 2 with this on, that's going to make all 3 pickups work. Now, if we go to the middle position, bridge is off, and it is acting like it's in position 4. If we go to position 4, you still have that. Then if we go to position 5, just the neck. So that's how the Gilmour mod works. Now to test the tone mod, let's put it down to the bridge, turn that off, and our tone is rolled all the way up. Hear it darken up. So that's 2 quick mods that you can do. And we're going to move on to that Rock Jam guitar now, just in case anybody out there bought that one. We'll see how similar it is. Okay, so this Rock Jam, I have the strings loosened up, and even if they were off, this here overhangs. So I have enough room to move this down, but the neck pickup is hanging up. So even if the strings were off, it doesn't kind of want to tilt up enough. So I'm gonna trim this on an angle, because you can see how close we are just to getting that off. And then I'm gonna file it. Alright, so I'm just gonna use my acoustic cutting saws, and I'm gonna kind of 45 it, and you can see how I have it taped. And then I'm gonna file it once I get this scratch guard off. Okay, so you can clearly see all I did is that they're kind of on a 45, but a little bit less. Now this will lift up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape the body off, and I'm gonna file these round. It's not gonna look exactly like a Fender, but you won't have the problem with the scratch plate taking it on and off. Alright, so you could see how I filed that up. And then make sure that you file up and under there. Coming over here, we know this is the neck pickup, middle, and bridge. So instead of having all the wires, which these are, you know, cheap pickups, but the blacks are your ground. So you have a white and black, a red and black, and a yellow and black. All the blacks are your grounds, and they're going to the volume pot, or the tone pot. And then we got a yellow wire here that jumps over to this tone pot to ground it, and then a yellow wire that jumps to this tone pot. Let's point out what's going on once again. So over here we have the white wire, and that connects to this side of the switch. So that is your neck pickup. Then we have the red wire in the middle from the middle pickup. Then we have the yellow wire for the bridge. This red wire goes down here to the volume pot lug right there. And then this blue wire follows over, and it gets connected into the first volume pot. The green gets connected into the last volume pot. The empty lug over here is where we're going to take our little tiny jumper wire, and we're going to solder it from there to the green wire, and then this tone pot right here will control the bridge as well as the middle one. By simply connecting this little jumper from here to the green tone pot, you'll have the tone on the bridge. It's worth mentioning because I don't remember if I did mention this or not, but this yellow wire here is just a ground on that side of the switch. So get a look from that side, that's what she looks like. I did see on YouTube the way you can convert a 5-way switch to a 3-way. So it was the same switch as this, and it was simply by taking the blade and kind of flipping it. And I thought I would mention that. The other thing worth noting is it does have a cap here and here, where I don't think the Affinity had that. Okay, so now I wanted to go over what these do. It's on my Fender, it's on this Rock Jam. When we're in the bridge position, this is going to be the tone control that operates it. This has no effect. So if we turn this down, this has no effect. If we go to position 2, still no effect here. But it's this one. Middle, again, it's that bottom tone control. This has no effect. Now when we move to position 4, both of these work on position 4. Then if we go to position 5, the neck pickup, that's the only one that works on the neck. Okay, so we have this switch wired up with some wires on, and a little tip, the center one is common. So if you have a single throw double pull, if you look here, you can see there's like a little keyway, and then up here you don't have one. So if you solder to this one here and then the center lug, if we take a look over here, you're gonna run that end one to here, which is your neck pickup. So if we look at our switch, you see the white wire is there. That's where we're gonna put that one. Then the common, we're just gonna go ahead and put that right to that red wire there on this pot because it's our volume pot. All right, so you could see that wire just runs right up, and I soldered it right there. And then the common, that just runs down to that volume. Now we'll test it out. All right, so the toggle switch is down on the bridge. Position 2. And then the third position. So just the middle pickup. Fourth position. And then the fifth position. All right, now we'll start with the mod on. This is the Gilmour mod, so bridge. So same as before. Now this should have all of them. And then the middle. So again, middle and neck in position 3 is just gonna be the same as position 4 now. And then the neck. And that's gonna be the end of how you modify, or for the Gilmour mod on a Rock Jam. Okay, so there she is. Got her all done. And if you have to replace these switches, now you have some idea, you know, what goes where, and you can put a better switch in here, and even the Affinity.